Welcome again, Maxim here, and in this video I will introduce you to the topic of Kuva Liches and Sisters of Parvos. You will learn where to find them and how to deal with them. I will be discussing Kuva and Tennet weapons, as well as several other items. I will start by presenting important information about Liches and then explain the differences with the Sisters. Liches and Sisters are special enemies that are assigned to specific sectors. In these areas you can play their special missions to find them, but even on regular missions there, you will feel their influence. The Lich can steal from you some of the goods obtained on the mission, around 10% of collected resources and credits, and has a chance to steal whole item or mats. After defeating him, you will recover the stolen items and can choose to convert him into an ally or kill and collect his unique weapon, which you can claim from the foundry after the fight. To be able to create a Lich, you must complete the story quest The War Within. Then, on regular Grineer missions, with levels 20 or higher, a larving can spawn. This is preceded by a special blinking of the screen and a transmission. I don't recommend just running through the map and waiting for its spawn, because if there is a maximum number of enemies on the map and you don't kill them, larving won't be able to spawn. When it spawns, just shoot it and wait until it gets on its knees. Now you can see an icon of the weapon that a Lich will have. He will fight with it, and you can get it after killing him. By attacking the kneeling larving with a Parazon, you can start its transformation into a Lich. But you don't have to do it. There are currently 20 Kuva weapons. Each has an equal chance of spawning in the larving's hands. However, you can avoid a situation where your Lich has the same weapon few times in a row. If you don't attack the larving with Parazon, it will just die after a while, along with the weapon a Lich is supposed to have. It won't be in the pool next time you try to create a Lich. You can keep eliminating weapons you don't want until you find something you are interested in. The pool resets after transforming larving into a Lich. The next larving will again have all weapons in the pool. When you return to the Orbiter, you will be greeted by a special transmission from the Lich. Then you can check the Lich or Sister main panel by pressing escape button and checking a special icon in the lower right corner. Here you can see the stats and important information, for instance Lich's level. The more failed attempts of defeating him, the higher level he is. Maximum is 5. Below you have Lich's name, skills and rage bar. The higher the level of it, the greater the chance he will appear on the mission. The bar fills up by killing thralls on a mission, or if your teammates do so. However, only if you kill them in the sector of your Lich or Sister is in. Below you have the Lich weaknesses, resistances and immunities. Going further, the weapon he has and its bonus stats. And finally, birthplace and progenitor Warframe. A few more words about these special weapons and their bonus stats. Bonus ranges from 25 to 60%, and what damage type it will be depends on what Warframe you attacked the larving with. Each character is assigned to one specific damage type. Kuva and Tennet weapons have one of the following: radiation, magnetic, toxic, electric, ice, fire or impact damage. You can increase this bonus up to 60% through the Valence fusion. You will find it at the bottom of the weapons modding screen, under the actions button. You combine two weapons of the same type to increase the bonus on upgraded weapon by 10%. If you want to keep the polarizations and catalyst in the weapon, you need to upgrade the one with the catalyst and polarizations with a different weapon. If the upgraded one and one used to upgrade have a different bonuses, you manually choose the bonus you want on the upgraded one. Back to the rewards, each Lich or Sister have a 20% chance of having an ephemera. Each damage type has a chance to create one unique ephemera on your opponent. You will receive it after the final fight, no matter how you end it. Alright, let's talk about how to fight a Lich. Depending on his level, he will be in a different sector. Each Lich starts on Earth, and then, with each level up, it moves to Mars, Ceres, Sedna, and finally, at the maximum 5th level, it stops at the Kuva Fortress. Missions in each of these areas will be marked with a red cloud when it's occupied by a Lich. When you click on a mission there, you will see a special variant. That's where your Lich may appear. Thralls of a given Lich will spawn during missions. You have to kill them and finish them off with a Parazon. This hidden blade is the key element in the fight against Liches and Sisters. Killing a thrall grants you a murmur point. Murmur allows you to discover which Requiem mods you need to use to defeat a Lich. You have 6 mod slots on your Parazon. In 3, you put mods that enhance its functionality, and in the other 3, you put Requiem mods. Where to get them? Apart from the market and other players, there are 2 options. By killing thralls, each killed has a 5% chance to drop a relic, and by playing Kuva Siphon missions, 50% drop chance for relic, and Kuva Flood. Here it is a guaranteed reward. Once you have them, you can go on the relic missions on the Kuva Fortress. Requiem mods are an uncommon reward, so I recommend upgrading the relic in order to increase the chance of getting them. Once you have obtained Requiem mods, you can play Lich missions in 2 ways. Insert random Requiem mods into Parazon in random order, but there's a lot of possibilities, or go some missions and keep killing thralls. I recommend the second method to discover the first Requiem. But knowing the first symbol isn't enough, because you don't know on which position it should be. The position of discovered mods is purely random, and there is no way to find out otherwise than just by trying. Using the Requiem on wrong position results in a Lich increasing its level, eventually up to 5th, and he also changes his location. However, if you guess it right, all you have to do is to put the rest of the Requiems in correct slots. Back to the random method. You can just put random Requiems in random positions. Be careful though, the Lich will grow more powerful with each failed attempt. However, this has one advantage. The moment you see an incorrect Requiem on a Lich or Sister, you and all your teammates will receive 10 murmur points. So here you have to make your own decision. Do you try it randomly, however each failure strengthens your enemy, or do it safer, patiently collect murmur on missions without increasing the Lich's level until you are able to check the position of the revealed symbols. In the best case, knowing all the symbols, but not their positions, you will guess it on the first try. In the worst case, you will have 3 failures and the Lich will be at level 4. Remember to always switch your mod's position after each failure. There are 8 Requiem mods plus a special one. It's called Oull and it is an universal mod. You will know it by the constantly morphing symbol, or sometimes it is depicted as you can see on the screen right now. When using it, you don't need to know a specific symbol on a given position. So, theoretically, knowing 2 out of 3 Requiems by collecting murmur, you are able to defeat the Lich by placing the mods you know properly, and use Oull as a replacement for the third one. Before you hit the Lich for the first time, play 2 or 3 missions to learn the first Requiem. Put it on the first position. If it is not valid, then you place Oull first, and the known Requiem goes into second slot. Thanks to this, you get the information very quickly where to place the first Requiem. If it is not in the right place in both cases, it must be in the third slot. Either way, once you've discovered its position, you only need to reveal the second symbol. Then you have a 50% chance that your next attempt is correct. However, obtaining Oull is not easy as the other Requiems. There's a 25% chance of getting it after using a full valid combination on your Lich or Sister. Each attempt of killing a Lich is saved in his profile, on the right side. There you will find combination attempts, guest Requiems, and those that are definitely included in the combination after getting the right amount of murmur. Each Requiem has 3 uses. The charge is only used up after using a valid combination. If you have a fully used Requiem, don't sell it for credits. You can transmutate 4 of them and get a random new charged one, even a new. Let's move on to the missions. I recommend those that can be completed in about 5 minutes, such as mobile defense, or those that are originally endless, like defense or interception. Up to 5 minutes, theoretically, a Lich or a Sister has a chance to appear. I said theoretically because a spawned Lich pauses this timer. Example: a Lich spawns after 3 minutes. The team fights it for 1 minute. A timer starts again at the 4th minute of a mission and counts down the remaining 2 minutes, in which the next one or more may appear. Even all 4, one for each team member, can appear on one mission, but it requires a lot of luck. As for other missions, such as sabotage or extermination, they are also good, but you can take your time on them. The longer you play, up to 5 minutes, the higher the chance for Lich to spawn. On these missions, as you already know, Lich thralls will spawn. For 5 minutes, 10 of them will appear, approximately 1 every half a minute. Let's call them mission thralls. However, the Lich will also spawn his own thralls during the combat. Let's call them clash thralls. The Lich himself can always create up to 10 of them. Mission thralls will stop spawning if during the mission there are 10 thralls spawned in total, no matter the type. Clash and mission thralls will spawn independently throughout the fight, so 10 of them both can spawn way faster than 5 minutes. Clash thralls are not restricted like the mission thralls. As long as Lich is alive, it will create up to 10 of them. So the ideal scenario is to have about 10 mission thralls, then Lich appears and creates 10 more of his own. After collecting murmur and guessing the combination, you must go on Railjack mission as a pilot of your own ship or join some other crew. If you want to defeat the Lich, you must go Saturn Proxima. You can play this mission solo or with a team. Playing with other players can make the fight easier if your Lich is a powerful one. However, only player with a Lich ready to kill can join the fight. As many players in a team, as many fights with Liches team will have to fight. Each player decides the fate of his own Lich at the end of the combat. You can kill him or convert him into an ally. If you want to get his weapon, you choose the first option. If he has an ephemera, no matter what you choose, you will get it. You also have a 25% chance to receive Requiem Ultimatum after the final decision. It is an item that you use from the gear wheel to immediately call out your Lich or sister. It is only a one-time use item, but still, it can make things faster if your Lich doesn't want to show up. By converting Lich, you can use him as a crew member on the Railjack, and he will also appear after you die on a mission, as a temporary helper. Or you can sell him in a special room in the dojo, in the Crimson branch. You can trade converted Liches and Sisters there. The buyer cannot have such active opponent. And at the moment of purchase, the buyer becomes the target of the opponent being sold. You can trade that way Kuva and Tennet weapons, or even ephemeras. Lich or sister once sold cannot be traded again. If you have problems with defeating your opponent, I recommend weapons with a high damage base stats, or with very high damage generating in short time, but use such weapons with small breaks. Liches and Sisters have a special algorithms on them, the so-called damage attenuation, constant and applied. These are to prevent the miniboss from being killed instantly. This is to make the fight harder, but not impossible to complete. As I said, weapons with a large base damage or high and fast damage output will be very important here. Equally important is matching your mods to your enemy's vulnerabilities. To face more powerful Liches, I strongly encourage you to play in a team. That's all about Liches. Now let's talk about differences in confrontations with the Sisters of Parvos. You can create Sisters after completing the Deadlock Protocol story quest. You need a Zenith Granum Crown. If you don't have it, I recommend going on Hydra on Neptune. On this capture mission, you can both proceed to create a sister and get this coin. Aside from typical mission objective, you must search for the Granum's golden hand. By placing the Zenith crown there, you will be transported to his void. Here I recommend using Zoris, with the build for detonating in air, by default alternative shot. Reaching any rotation there, minimum for 25 kills, playing solo, will cause the sister candidate to spawn, after returning from the Granum's void. You treat her like larvings. You can choose shot weapon, or go to the extraction and try again. You get primary and secondary Tennet weapons from the Sisters. There are 10 of them in total. We will get to the melee weapons later. If you go on a mission I was talking about, after 2 or 3 minutes, a special mob with a Granum crown will appear. You can reclaim the used coin or acquire to use it. Back on a ship, you already have a lot of similarities. The main opponent screen, vulnerabilities, resistances, skills, rage bar, weapon it has, and the percentage of its bonus. On the right side of the screen, you will have the combinations you have made and the results. The sister missions begin on Venus, and then with the level ups, it will move through the Phobos, Jupiter, Neptune, all the way to Pluto. During the mission, there are no thralls, only hounds. Their spawn is reduced to 3 minutes, but sisters still can spawn up to 5 minutes. During this time, up to 3 hounds will spawn from mission, plus up to 3 more from a sister if she spawns. 3 hounds gives as much murmur as 10 thralls. Now a few more similarities. Parazon combos, collecting murmur, leveling up caused by failures, but after using the correct combo, sister escapes to Neptune Proxima. A killed or converted sister gives you her hound. It becomes your companion. It is waiting for you in the foundry, where you will also find additional blueprints of the components for the hounds. You will also get back the credits she stole from you when you played missions in her sectors. I strongly recommend playing Sister Hunt on Neptune Proxima in a team. In case of Liches and Sisters, player can acquire Requiem Ultimatum and Oull only for themselves, but the Sisters drop an additional reward. Each killed Sister drops 1 corrupted Holokey. This is a special currency that you can use in Ergo Glast shop, leader of the pairing sequence. While Kuva weapons of all types can be obtained from Liches, melee Tennet weapons can only be obtained from Glast. There are 5 of them. This isn't the only source of corrupted Holokeys. I'd say an additional one. By default, they are farmed on relic missions on Railjack, Void Storms. The further the Proxima, looking from the starting point, the more you can drop. The most profitable is to farm them on the Veil Proxima. However, if you plan to play Sisters of Parvos pretty often, it is definitely worth playing in a team and get extra free Holokeys. And that's all in this video. Good luck with fighting Sisters, Liches and collecting their weapons and ephemeras. If you have any questions, please type them in the comment section or visit one of my streams. Link in the description. See you next time. Bye.